feeling great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of disease. Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode number 482 of the Immigration Answer Show. I'll be here for the next hour or so trying to answer as many of your immigration law related questions as I can. How's everybody doing? Hope you had a good Friday night, a good weekend so far, a nice long weekend. I always like Thanksgiving weekend because it's like having two weekends. It's like having Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday is like Friday, Saturday, and then Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's like having two sets of weekends back to back. I always get lots of good sleep, and I'm always well rested during the Thanksgiving weekend. We played a mean game of Risk yesterday at the house. I started with New Guinea and got all of Australia. My son Yusuf got South America pretty quickly. And, it's not letting me post. Let me see. Let me try again. Don't know what's going on with that. Trying to post the link. There we go. That's for the waiting room. If anyone wants to come in and ask me a question, I will be here for the next hour, trying to answer all of your immigration law related questions. We have offices around the United States, in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. Because immigration is federal, we can represent immigrants from around the world, and people who are going through the immigration process hire us all the time. So thanks for that. Let's say hi to some of our friends. Antonio's here from Texas. Sinus is here from Seattle. Daryl is in Oklahoma. Yu Yin is watching in Arlington, Virginia. Lizard B points out that I started a little bit early. Yes, I did. I want to get home to try to watch the Michigan-Ohio State game with the boys. So wanted to talk about a few things. One is that at the bottom of the hour, I'm going to talk about an explosive new report from the Brooklyn Law School. The clinic there did an amazing job of analyzing why the denial rates at the New York Asylum office are so high. Would you believe it if I told you that the approval rate for asylum cases at the New York Asylum office ranges between 5 and 7%? 5 and 7%. It's ridiculous. And I'm going to tell you all about that report in a little bit. I'll also post the link so that you can read the report yourself. It's really quite something. I love it when people, I always love like expose journalism, or where people sort of don't just take the party line and they go out and research things on their own. And so these guys, they interviewed some professors and some law students, interviewed former asylum officers. They interviewed attorneys that practice in that asylum office often. They interviewed asylum seekers, and they looked at the data, and the data don't lie. Let me just say that the data don't lie. So, when I was in law school, one of the concepts that they teach you is something sort of basic that you might understand. It's that the law is supposed to be fair and administered fairly, and that it's not supposed to be what's called arbitrary and capricious. Arbitrary means that they that there's no real consistency in the way that they decide things, and capricious means that it's sort of unfair in the way that they divvy out the law. So many of the cases that the New York Asylum Office decides were without merit end up getting approved by the immigration judges. So there's some kind of disconnect there. And when you have some asylum offices having approval rates of 40%, 35%, 50%, versus this New York Asylum Office, which has a 5 to 7% approval rate, it just shows you that when it comes to the enforcement of our immigration laws, and here specifically our asylum laws, that you're really not seeing that based on the conduct of the U.S. government. So it's really upsetting. It's really troubling. There's really no excuse for it. The asylum process is not supposed to be adversarial. It's not supposed to be combative. The asylum office is supposed to simply gather facts and determine whether or not someone has met the legal standard. And as we'll see when we dive into the report, there's some troubling practices at that New York Asylum office. And to me, it just reinforces the kind of stuff that we say anecdotally about different field offices or different asylum offices, how you hear different things from different places and how the law is just not being applied fairly. Let me go ahead and post the comments. I'm going to start talking to some of our guests in the waiting room. If you want to join us in the waiting room, feel free. This is episode number 482 of the Immigration Answer Show. And again, my name is Jim Hacking. We have offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. We're going to go ahead and get started and talk to DipFab. What's up, DipFab?
Hi, good morning, Jim. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for taking me here.
Sure.
I have a question, but I just have to summarize the whole situation because it's a little bit long. In 2018, I put in my application. I was denied 2020 based on, firstly, they gave me a noid that they search. I'm from Nigeria. That when they search the divorce decree online, they couldn't find it, but they find another one online. But I knew my ex-husband was in the court, but I didn't show up to the court when the divorce was going on.
What country?
From Nigeria.
Okay.
And we have a like traditional wedding and court wedding. So I have to, when they ask me for this, I have to put the traditional evidence too to show that I'm fully divorced because they said without them saying that it's fully separated, they can't do nothing. So at the end of the day, they deny me, but they believe I have a relationship with my current husband. But they said when they search online, it doesn't show fully that I'm fully divorced from the first marriage. So in that case, they cannot approve the what's it called? The I-485 and the
I-130.
I-140. So they
Mhm.
deny. So I have to search online. I got a lawyer. I spoke with the lawyer. So the lawyer asked me if it was real because they are going after a Nigerian divorce that is fake. I told him it was real because my ex went to the court and we're like fighting for the custody of the children. So I didn't go there. So he asked me what I would do is to get a lawyer back home to go help me search and get the real divorce decree if that is the case.
Yeah.
So I will employ somebody over the lawyer. He helped me search, and he actually find out that the first one that I submitted was actually fake.
Yeah.
So, but he saw the one they saw. So he has to get all the distance from me. Then I send it to the lawyer. Then we put in another one in that 2020. So 2021 December.
Wait. Hold on. I want to hear about the divorce. So did you get a new divorce?
It's not new. It's still the same thing. It's just that the first one that I took there, when I asked my ex, he told me ask somebody to go get it for him. So instead of them getting original one, they got him a fake one.
But you're saying there was so you say go get me the real divorce decree, and somebody's being lazy. They don't go get the real divorce decree. They just make up a fake one, but there really was a real one.
Right.
Okay.
So now we got the real one. So my lawyer now writes a letter that I did not get it by myself. This is the real one. We put everything, which was the one they said they saw. So we put it in. Then they give me EAD. Then I went for interview 2021 December, and I submit everything. The lawyer asked me like the first marriage, there was a stock interview. I went twice. That's the one they deny. So this second one that we submitted the application, where we got there, the officer said he's not going to do a stock interview because the last person that did it really document everything, and everything was so clear. So she just
So they definitely believe the second marriage.
right.
Yep.
No, you see the same marriage, just the
Yeah.
second interview, right?
Right.
So to now check everything, collect the divorce decree, ask me if I was aware that what's it called? That the first one I submitted was fake. So I told her I was not aware. It wasn't me that did the this thing that I didn't know. So she said we'll get back to me in another 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, it's been pending, and I've made like six inquiry without nothing. So fast forward last week, I just saw I-130 approve. Before the I-130 approved, they said RFA for I-485. So the next day, I-130 approved.
Great.
So now I received the RFA for the I-485. They asking me for I-693, and they asking me I-601 inadmissible or something waiver. So I don't know.
Boo, boo. That sucks. So they want you to file a waiver. They said that they want to sit. They're saying that the original divorce decree was a misrepresentation on your part. Is that right?
Right. They said 2018, I submitted the fake, a fraudulent, what's it called? Divorce decree.
Yeah, yeah. So they didn't buy your explanation that you were sort of a victim in this and didn't participate in creating a false divorce decree.
But I told them the truth. My
Yeah,
ex went to the court. I
yeah,
wasn't there. So,
yeah.
and they saw everything. They were even the one that called my attention to it, that they find it.
Like
But they didn't see
you
where
found out
it
when they
said it
found out.
was. Right.
Yeah, that
So
sucks.
there's no way I will submit when I did a real divorce and go and submit a fake without me knowing, with me knowing it's fake. Why will I submit a fake when I know I did original?
Yeah.
So this case, I don't know what to do. And they gave
So
me till February,
the RFE is due in February.
right?
Um. Well, I mean, if we were your lawyers, we would, number one, we would attack the idea that you even need a waiver. So we would pound them on walking them through exactly why this is not a misrepresentation on your part. And I think you have a uniquely good argument in that there was a real divorce decree, and
Yeah.
only no one in their right mind would submit a fake decree if there was a real one, right? So that's just sort of basic logic. Now, a lot of times basic logic doesn't work at USCIS. And then number two, I would start working on that waiver. So, you're going to have to show there's some hardship to your spouse if you have to go back to Nigeria.
Yeah, they said so. So, and I don't know. They said though I should show a hardship if I should go back to Nigeria. So I don't
Yeah.
know what.
So you've got to figure out, does my spouse have mental health conditions, physical health conditions, earning, like, am I helping support the family? Like, you have to come up with all the ways it would be very hard for your husband if you guys were separated, or if he had to move to Nigeria. Is he of Nigerian descent?
You said what?
Is he from Nigeria originally as well, or no?
No, he's from Ghana. And apart from that, again, most financial this thing, I'm the one carrying it. So you only support a little because it's 60. So you can't really work that hard again.
And what field office is this?
It's Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yeah. Okay, so what's your question for me?
Like, what will I do? That's my question for you.
So, like I said, so what needs to happen? I mean, so I would hit him hard on, I don't need a waiver. So that's the first section of what I'm filing in February. I don't need a waiver. Here's all the reasons why you guys are stupid and why we don't really need a waiver. And then I would say, even if we do need the waiver, we have a really strong waiver case, and here it is. It's attached, right? So you need to do both of those things in the hopes that they will either change their mind and say DipFab doesn't really need a waiver, or two, we make it a close call as to whether or not you need a waiver. That way you don't need as strong a waiver case as everybody else. Does that make sense?
Okay. So can I contact you?
Yeah. You want to email us? We'd be happy to help you with it.
Okay.
Do you
I
have
will
my
just
email? Do you have our email?
can you put it on the screen so that way I can copy
Yeah,
it and
it's right
yeah.
there. info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. If you send it over the weekend, I'll see it and I can email you back.
Okay. Thank you so much for taking
Have a
me
good
in.
day. Yeah.
And
Boy, that's really unfortunate. So we've seen a lot of different angles on the old Nigerian divorce, but we haven't seen one. I haven't seen this one before, where the person had a real divorce decree and their lazy ass husband or their lazy ass husband's lawyer or their husband ex-husband's lazy ass lawyer didn't go get it. They just made up a fake one. They're just it must be really easy to get fake divorces in Nigeria because sometimes it's easier than just doing your job and going down the street to get the damn thing you're supposed to get. All right, let's talk to Laurent. Hello, Laurent.
Hey Jim, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I had a quick question. I have a friend. I'm from the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Okay.
I have a friend. So she got married to an American citizen, the Congolese who became an American citizen.
Mm-hmm.
So he went home and they loved each other. They got married and even had a child. So they did everything right. But then he returned to the US, but since then things really went south and he's, filing for divorce. But in the meantime, the child is, I think, 1 year old and he got a US passport. So that he's an American son, an American child. Now he's not feeling well. They need to go to the hospital, like, help him out. So that friend, the female friend, she's not American because the guy introduced his her filed for her and everything went to NVC and they were trying to get her the appointment for the visa and then when this happened, he just canceled everything. Well, he made a stop to everything, so she wasn't able to get an interview. So
Mm-hmm.
everything like she's like in limbo. So she asked me if I could, because I have the ability to talk to you, to ask if there is any way she could, let's say, come to the US and help the child go to the hospital because the child has a US passport. Is there any way through the child that she could have immigration privileges or not
In 20 years,
in the 20 years?
when the kid turns 21. Until then, there's no real route to the parent of a US citizen. It's sort of like if someone comes to the United States, gives birth to a child, and the child's born in the United States, so therefore they're a US citizen. That doesn't give them the right to then stay in the United States to help tend to the kid or take care of the kid or be in the United States. So when the US citizen pulls out of an I-130, that's really the end of the ball game. There's no real approach to this. Adele and I had a case early on where this guy came from Bosnia. He got a lady pregnant. They were going to file an I-130. She had the baby, and then she decided she didn't want to sponsor him for a green card, and he had to leave because he had no other status here. So it's a really really sad situation, but it's one that we see from time to time.
Mm. So even just considering the health of the baby, if there is no like good health care back home, is there anywhere?
So their answer would be, we'd be happy to accept this U.S. citizen to come to the United States and get health care, but that doesn't mean his mother gets to come.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, that was my main question. So another question I had in my case, I told you last time I'm a priest. I'm in Cape Girardeau, and because of the visa retrogression, what would happen? Let's say I renewed my R1, which goes until 2025, and with all these slow movements, if by 2025 I don't get to submit my 485 because I have my 360 approved, will I be just obliged to go back home even with an approved 360?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
R1s are weird that way. You can't continue more than 5 years. You can't keep rolling it while the I 360 is pending or the 485 date is waiting to become current. It's just a stupid flaw in our immigration policies. But that's my understanding, is that if you run out of R1 time and you still want to come on the immigrant visa, you're going to have to consular process.
Mm. And you cannot like apply for work authorization just with a 360 approved.
Not unless the priority date becomes current.
Oh,
Because work authorization comes from the adjustment application, and the adjustment application can't be filed until the priority date is reached.
okay. Well, that's tough.
Yeah,
Well, tough to hear, but that's the truth. Thank you. I remember last time you told me about, getting a stamp on my visa, which I did. I went home. I was able to get the visa to come in.
that's
I think
good.
that's what I'll be doing until I'm able to file for 485. Yeah.
How far out is it right now? I haven't looked lately.
It's still 2019 for our category, fourth category.
Yeah. And what's your date? Like 22?
23 February.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a
Thanks,
long
Lawrence.
time. Thank you, Jim.
See ya.
See ya.
All right. I think DipFab, did you have another question for me? Or are you just chilling? You're still on mute. DipFab, did you have a question for me? Or you're just chilling?
Yes, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said I mistakenly hand the call. I said I have a question. I have a U.S. citizen son based on the hardship. Can I use him as well? He's 10 years old.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I want to ask.
Yep. Thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you so
Yep.
much.
Yep, for
Yes.
sure. Peter's here. Hello.
Oh, Jim. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yeah. I called you earlier about my issue about my wife being on a station A.
I'm having a hard time hearing you. Can you say it again?
Now, I called you earlier enough about my wife being on station 8.
Okay.
Yeah. So, is that an issue for her to fight for me and she's working?
So where are
If
you?
I'm in Pennsylvania, if I have a sponsor now,
So are you legally married now?
we are legally married. We married last year. I came in and went last year.
I can barely hear you.
Okay, I say yes, we are married.
So she has to be the main sponsor. You can get a co-sponsor, but she has to give 3 years of tax returns. She has to show that she's filed tax returns. Even if she has zero income, you might need a co-sponsor, but she has to be the main sponsor.
Okay, now I have an issue with her. She went ahead and have another boyfriend. This is my problem with her now. So I just give her space. Hello, do you hear me?
Barely. I think you said she has another boyfriend.
She has another boyfriend. Now I just give her space for some time now, since 3 or 4 days now, because I don't want to go through that process with her anymore. So I want to.
If you're having this kind of trouble at the beginning, it's only going to get worse as time goes on. I don't think you want to spend any time or effort on a case based on this if she's catting around with somebody else.
Yes. So can I file a divorce? I think it's possible if I can file a divorce.
Yeah, people do.
Yeah.
I mean, when did you come to the United States?
I came in 2021 F1 visa.
Are you still going to
December.
school?
No.
So you're out of status. Well, how long did you go to school?
I went to school for I finished one semester before I couldn't be able to go.
Why'd you stop going?
I lost my father there.
I'm sorry.
So
Yeah.
I lost my father. So things were so hard for me.
So
Only my
so your
mom
question
can-
for me, your question for me is, if I get divorced and then I end up marrying somebody else, can they apply for me? Is it going to hurt me that I got married once before? Is that what you mean?
Yes, that's my question.
Yeah,
Yes.
it makes it harder, especially if you're out of status. If you're out of status and you're running around marrying different people, they don't like that. Yeah, it's going to make it harder. So the good thing is, I guess, is that you haven't filed yet with this person, so that's a little bit better. And if you've only been married a couple months, then you can just say she was cheating on me, and hopefully you have proof of that, and then you can just focus on the new case later.
Yes, we married November last year. So today, this month makes it one year we just married.
Good luck, Peter.
Okay, so I can file, right?
Who you're gonna file
Without
with?
her.
Who are you gonna file with?
No, I say if I marry another person, can it
Yeah.
work out with
If it's
children's
real. Yeah, if it's real.
Yeah. Okay. So, sir, hello.
Mhm.
So, what are the conditions for me to get married to a U.S. citizen? Real marriage, because I want to marry, I want to settle down. Real
What do
marriage,
you mean? What do you
like
mean? What are the conditions?
conditions like if the person is not, what will be the requirement? Like if the person that on session 8, because all these kind of issues has come up a lot for me now. So, like, if the person is working without an assistant, is it a problem? Or an assistant?
Um,
Because that's the questions I will ask whoever I want to be with now.
I don't really know how to answer that.
Like, okay, if somebody is working and she's on food stamp, is it a problem for the person to be my petitioner?
So so I do think USCIS discriminates against poor people, and they assume that if poor people get married to an immigrant who's out of status, I think they assume that the immigrant is paying the person who doesn't have a lot of money to enter into the marriage. So um, I think people are chiming in as well. They said love is a condition. So I think that's the most important thing. And that's why I'm sort of confused by the question. I don't know that I'd be sitting around thinking about how do I get married to solve my immigration problems. I think that's a problem. I think this is trouble.
A lot of challenge, a lot of problems into this marriage of but it's well. I'll figure it out, no problem. But if the person is not on any assistance, I think the person can fight for me. That's what I want to know.
Well, so somebody needs a single person without any children needs to be making 30,000 a year for the last 3 years.
Okay, 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 okay,
Thanks,
okay.
Peter.
Okay, thank
See you,
you,
buddy.
sir.
Yeah, for sure. That was an interesting call. So this is the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm going to go talk to the legend. What's up, legend?
Hello, how you doing, Mr. Jim?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, good. I have a quick question regarding question 61 for the public charge. I remember a long time ago, one of the shows, it was a white person from Texas and his wife was like Indian and she was doing some kind of outside schooling. And you asked that person a question, does your wife wants to go to work after they apply for 45? And he said yes. Then you said, well, no. But
Oh yeah,
yesterday,
everyone's mad at me. They yelled at me yesterday. They've updated the form. Everybody is now subject to those questions. So that question is a gateway question. It's supposed to be yes.
yes, but when I applied for it, I said no. I applied for my I-13485 in October. I only had one RFE for the joint sponsor, and I already submitted that, and I have nothing yet. It's under the review under USCIS. So should I touch it? Should I don't touch it or wait for an RFE? I said no in that one, but I'm the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen in that category.
I think if you wanted to update it, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I think that would be a good thing to do. But I also think that no one's going to look at it and probably nothing will happen.
So what do you recommend? Should I wait or should I, the way I said, should I poke the snake or let it go?
I think I would poke it.
You'll poke it. So should I send the complete form again or?
I would answer those questions. Just say, listen, I listened to this moron immigration lawyer on YouTube and he told me to put no. So blame me and just say, I'm updating my information. And it looks like I am that everyone is subject to the analysis of public charge, and then go through and answer those questions.
So should I scan it and upload it to USDA.com? Or
That's what I would do.
Okay, so I will print out the complete forms, fix those questions, and put a separate letter that I'm fixing this public charge, scan it, put a PDF, and just upload it.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Sorry for the hassle.
No problem. All right. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
See you, bud. Yep.
All right.
Bye. All right. Let's go to Aman. Aman, how are you?
How are you doing, sir? Happy
I'm well.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Same to you. How you doing?
Good. Also the other day my connection was bad. So my question was to you that when I got the disposition from district attorney, when I charged for domestic violence, it says on disposition was declined to prosecute. However, additional information come to their attention, it can be resubmitted for further review.
That's still a dismissal.
Okay. And I can travel even though I will face any problems while returning back.
That's a different question. Now, if you you're going through the green card process right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And have you filed already, or you're waiting to file?
No, I already filed, and then it's been 18 months, and now I filed a mandamus with you guys.
Okay. So if you're that close to getting your green card and you have a criminal interaction, even though it was dismissed, I would just wait to get the green card, because no reason to put yourself in harm's way if you're that close to getting the green card.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that.
See you, man.
Have a good one.
All right. As promised, let's talk a little bit about the New York Asylum Office. I'm going to put a link to the report so that everybody can read it themselves if you want to see how different asylum offices handle things. There's a lot of good information for anybody who is going through the asylum process. It talks a lot about how it all works. Let me share the screen here. I just want to go over sort of the main findings. So again, for those of you who weren't on before, the wonderful Safe Harbor Clinic at Brooklyn Law School and the director, Professor Faiza Saeed, has done an amazing job of going through, looking at the data, talking to former USCIS asylum officers, talking to lawyers that practice a lot of immigration or asylum cases in the New York Asylum Office. So there are 11 asylum offices around the country. And they were noticing through their work in the clinic that a lot of the meritorious, the good asylum cases were getting denied. And they figured out that the denial rate was very, very high. They're denying about 95 to 93% of the cases. So let's look at the executive summary. Year after year, the New York Asylum Office grants asylum at one of the lowest, if not the lowest rate, significantly lower than Texas and Florida. In fiscal year 2020, they granted 5%. In fiscal year 2021, they granted 6% and 7% in 2022. These are the sort of the big findings. The New York Asylum Office rejects asylum seekers with valid asylum claims. We have found that asylum officers and asylum seekers at the New York Asylum Office are trapped in a dysfunctional cycle. According to our interviews, many New York asylum officers grant asylum at shockingly low rates because granting an asylum seeker's case takes more time than rejecting that case and referring the asylum seeker to immigration court. This is true even when the asylum seeker has a legitimate claim. Now, that sounds familiar. That sounds like the things that we talk about on this show all the time. People scratching their heads saying, I thought I had a good case. I thought, and I'm reading beyond just the New York Asylum Office here. I'm reading it as this is how they do things in lots of branches of USCIS, but just focusing on this office. Is anybody surprised that one of the reasons that they are denying more cases than they grant is simply because they don't want to do the heavy lifting of approving a case? I've literally, the very first time I sued the Chicago Asylum Office for an asylum delay, I ended up having an 8-hour interview and a 4-hour interview after that for an asylum seeker from Syria whose dumb attorneys had said that he was a member of Group A, Group B, and various other groups. We spent 8 hours and then 4 hours talking about various other groups. That case ultimately got approved. And actually, we were there waiting while they were approving it. And I can tell you that it does take hours and hours of work for them to approve an asylum case, especially if it's a tough case, right? So it's much easier to just say rejected and referred and send it over to the immigration court. So that's a pretty upsetting finding that was obtained. Former New York asylum officers reported that they were required to work at a punishing and unrealistic pace and face losing their jobs or other retaliation if they could not keep up. There's a culture of fear in the New York Asylum Office. They're under pressure to work as quickly as possible, and their performance was judged by the pace at how quickly they completed their asylum applications. Right? So the funny thing is, these cases take years and years and years, right? Years. I mean, we have cases right now in our office filed in 2015, 2016, no interview. But then when you get your interview, they give you 2 hours to explain why your life is in danger if you go back home. It's not that the New York Asylum Office is hearing these cases faster and moving cases faster. It's just that once they get there, they want you to deny them as quickly as possible. Here's the next finding. Immigration attorneys allege that during asylum interviews, New York asylum officers zero in on inconsistencies that aren't important or material to an asylum seeker's claim, grasping for any excuse to refer the case to immigration court. According to several former New York asylum officers, the strategic and often fastest way to get a referral is to cred people out. Cred people out. If I was doing an episode, if I had titles for our shows, I would talk about credding people out. Here's for those of you who are wondering what that means. That was a new phrase for me. To cred someone out is asylum officer shorthand for denying an application based on credibility, meaning that the asylum officer did not believe the applicant was telling the truth. Multiple former asylum officers and immigration attorneys said that if asylum officers could establish 3 material inconsistencies, they were able to refer the case. It is relatively easy to find credibility issues when interviewing applicants with a history of trauma. An applicant need only misremember a date or time of day when they experience some horrific event. An asylum officer can deem the applicant not credible. That's what we're dealing with. It's not, like I say all the time, it's not that they're looking for ways to approve your case. It's like they have a little checklist and they say, once I get to 3 checks where you said this event happened at 1 a.m, and it actually in your report to the United Nations when you first came when you came to the United States, or when you interviewed before, or you had a credible fear interview or whatever, and you said 1 p.m, that's 1 check mark against you. And if they get to 3, then they can just shut down the file, send it over to the asylum office. So they're sitting on their ass for years. Then they're getting the cases and they're looking for reasons to deny them as quickly as possible. Here's a good one, or tragic one, I should say. Former New York asylum officers claim that they were punished if they took the time to advocate for asylum grants. Some former New York asylum officers said they were miserable at work as they struggled with the guilt of rejecting asylum seekers with valid claims due to time pressure. Other former asylum officers said they refused to comply. These officers took the time to argue for grants, for a grant of asylum. They were either pushed out by management during the probationary period, or they were demoralized by the constant uphill struggle. Many quit or sought a transfer to another asylum office. As a result, the New York Asylum Office suffers from a toxic work culture, high turnover, and a lack of institutional knowledge and mentorship to guide inexperienced asylum officers. Sound familiar? We talk about this stuff all the time. Former New York asylum officers said that office leadership pressures asylum officers to move at an unrealistic pace. This pressure from leadership results in asylum officers rejecting legally sound asylum claims simply because granting a case takes more time. In the end, this dysfunction hurts asylum seekers who often unknowingly walk into this dynamic, hoping for a fair opportunity to state their case at an asylum interview that carry life or death stakes. Instead, it's just easier to refer them to the court. And here's the most troubling part, that everybody in charge of the overseeing the New York Asylum Office knows about this is going on. And they are just willing to let things continue. Okay, so here's look at this. So check this out. So I'm going to stop sharing. And our friend Robert says, I've handled asylum cases in New York and I've never appeared at the asylum office, and it is standard practice among local attorneys not to appear. The reason is that asylum officers are a joke in New York. Wow. Thank you, Robert, for that feedback. So I know a lot of people think that I make shit up. And a lot of people think, oh, Jim, it can't really be that bad. It can't really be like you're saying that it does. It is, right? I think there's a lawsuit here. Like, I think that they're not following the law. Now, I don't know how to do lawsuits like that. Like, I've never done something like that. But man, if I had an asylum case that was denied there that I thought was meritorious, I just think these fuckers need to get sued. And people need, I mean, of course, it all starts at the top. So the clowns running USCIS and the clowns running Homeland Security, they don't want to appear weak on immigration. So they're happy to let this shit go on. Right. So we lay all of this at the doorstep of the White House and President Biden. Yeah. You're not Trump. We get it. But at the same time, this is going on under your watch. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about this report? I hope this thing gets lots of coverage, and I hope people begin to understand what we're up against when we're dealing with USCIS and people who have valid claims. And I mean, this is just a demolition of the idea that people are getting a fair shot when it comes to filing for asylum. And it's troubling. It's troubling because I think that can permeate any office. It can permeate field offices. I think this approach rings true. Anyone who's been to multiple immigration offices around the country knows that there's some that are really good and fair and some that are really bad. So read that report. Let me know what you think, and we can keep talking about it this week. Let's say hi to Jamal. Hi, Jamal.
Yeah, hold on one second. Hello.
Hi, buddy.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Can you take me off the camera, please?
Jamal, you are off the camera.
Okay, thank you, sir. I just have one question. I applied for citizenship in let me see, in 2021.
Okay.
Okay. Then I went for the interview, and the officer told me, because I was working in Virginia that time. So the officer told me, you need to approve to me that you've been resident here 3 months, or I think 4 months. Was it 3 months or 4 months?
It'd be 3 months, 90
Yes.
days. Yep.
So I couldn't prove to him, and I told him that actually I work in I work here, I live here also, but my I'm still in Florida, I'm still going back and forth, but I work here in Virginia, and I use the mail here, so that's why I applied from Virginia. So basically what he said is, sorry, I have to deny, and maybe you will have to apply again.
Yeah.
So I did again, and this time I just went for my interview here in Virginia again, still using same address. I went for my interview, and it was on the 16th, November 16th. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing is, the officer brought me inside, and she said, I need you to I need to get you sworn and all that. I said, okay. And then she said, have a seat. Then she asked me, where do you live? And I told her.
This is Fairfax field office?
Yes.
Okay.
So I told her, I live now here, completely in Virginia. And she was like, okay, but you guys filed N336 when you were denied the first time. So I told her, I said yes. Then she said, okay, because right now we are confused. Your Jacksonville in Florida, they have jurisdiction on your application, and you know that your application is being opened. So we are confused, what's going on and why you applied again. So I told her, I said, I waited almost a year, so I didn't hear from you guys, and I got I consulted one lawyer, and he told me just apply again. So that's what I did. Then she asked me, she said, so you still in Virginia, you still at this address? I said yes. Then she asked me, what about your driver license? So I told her, my driver license is still from Florida.
Dude, why? I mean, okay. All right.
Okay. The reason is because I lost my green card. Okay. And when I went to get Virginia license, they told me they cannot take only a copy of my green card. I need to get a physical one, So that time I just felt lazy to even go or apply for another green card. So that's what happened. So basically the officer told me, okay, well, I'm going to do something. I'm not going to deny you, because I'm not going to give you I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 60 days. And then the next time you come in here, I'm going to schedule you after 60 days. When you show up again, I need to see a lease agreement or something. And I told her, I said, there is no lease agreement, because basically where I work, I manage a hotel. And basically the owner provide me a place to stay, so accommodation. So she told me, okay, I need a letter from that owner, that person,
And also, I need you to change your license from Florida to Virginia. Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's what happened. Then I told her about my green card situation. She sent me downstairs to the info pass to basically get some document from them to show to the DMV. And then I received on the next day, following day, on the 17th. What's the name of that letter? Letter of continuance.
Yep.
And basically, they are asking me like to send either a driver. They gave me a lot of options: driver license, lease agreement, mortgage, or utility bill.
Okay.
Yeah. So my question to you right now is, I'm trying to um, I'm trying to send, or like I'm trying to send them. I'm trying to send the letter, but also still my driver license is still from Florida. I haven't changed it yet. I'm planning on changing it soon. But the thing is, if I change it now, what if like some other officers, they see that I just changed my license, and then they may make an issues, because the only one who understood my case, it was that officer I spoke to. So my question to you is like, do you think she will note it on my file that when he came he had a Florida driver license?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're not doing this right.
Uh-huh.
So we need to think about two things. One is Jamal's life, right? Jamal has this life where he lives his life around in America every day, right?
Yes.
And then we have Jamal's naturalization case.
Yes.
So there are lots of reasons why people live their lives the way that they do.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't help or dictate how their naturalization case is going to end up. So you have been handing them for the last 3 years
Mm-hmm.
lots of things to hit you over the head with
Mm-hmm.
on your naturalization case. You never ever should have filed the second N400 without having your driver's license squared away. That was not smart, because you're just setting yourself up for you already knew that
Mm-hmm.
your residency was the most important thing. You'd be a citizen if your residency was right.
Oh, okay.
So you just keep giving them more bad evidence and saying more bad things to your case. From a naturalization standpoint, it is your obligation
Mm-hmm.
to show that you have lived in the jurisdiction where you filed the N400 for the 90 days before you filed.
Oh, okay.
And when you don't have a lease
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have a driver's license, to me, what I would do, I would withdraw the N400. I would withdraw the N336. I would get my residency squared away,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would wait 90 days, and then I would file a new N400, and it should sail right through. It's like you're like pulling away at your skin. All these different things just make the case worse and worse. They want a clean case. You said that they told you that they were confused, and there's a great phrase that I absolutely love, and that is, a confused mind
Mm-hmm.
can't make a decision. A confused mind can't make a decision. And it's almost like, I know you're not doing this. It's almost like you're trying to make them mad. It's almost like you're trying to figure out, what are all the ways I can make this case as weak as possible. Oh, I don't have a lease. Oh, I spent some time in Florida. Oh, I
No,
have a Florida driver's license, but I'm going to file in Virginia.
I do, Jim. I do have lease, but the thing is, even like I never thought about the driver license. It can
It's
be.
the most important thing. It's the one thing, whenever they ask you at the start of any interview, let me see your driver's license. It's always the most important thing.
Oh, okay. So what should I do, Jim? You said I need to withdraw. Like,
I would start all over with a clean slate. I would not keep pushing. Pretty soon, you're sort of lucky in that they haven't accused you of fraud.
Mm.
Right? So that's what we don't want. We don't want, you got lucky that you had an officer who sort of looked back at the whole thing, felt sorry for you, and sort of gave you this chance to clean it up. But man, I think you're getting pretty close to them saying, this guy's trying to sneak one past us.
Mm.
So I'm not saying to withdraw the case, but I sure as hell would withdraw the N336. The N336 is only filed if you think they made a mistake, and it doesn't sound like they made a mistake the first time.
Yeah, but I explained to them like I still go back and forth between Florida and Virginia, and still work here. And also the one thing, Jim, is like, why would they think there is anything fraud? Because I've been here in Virginia for almost a year
But you
before.
can't prove it.
No, I can prove it. I mean, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send them the letter from the owner that I've been working here since August 28th of 2021.
When's your letter of continuance due?
They gave me until December 20.
Can you get your driver's license squared away by then?
Yes, that's what I'm going to do on next, like this coming Monday or Tuesday.
So hopefully, you get the updated driver's license, you get proof of the living arrangements at this hotel that you're working at.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be creative too. I mean, like, do you have a credit card?
Yes.
So I would get my credit card statements since I started living in Virginia, and I would highlight all the purchases that I made at stores in Virginia, showing that I went to the grocery store every Wednesday in Virginia. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's your burden. It's your burden. It's always the applicant's burden to prove eligibility, and residency for 90 days before filing is a keystone. So you've spent the money. You're still in the game. I don't think they're going to find fraud. I would submit every piece of evidence I can, and I'd start with driver's license as number one, lease as number two, and then all that other stuff to show where you live.
I do also have like my my car insurance, and like I said, like as you mentioned, like my credit card. Like I have a lot of receipts with me. Like,
yep, all of it. Overwhelm them. Make them happy that you responded, and make them happy that they can finally approve you for citizenship.
Okay, cool. And Jim, if I submit all this evidence, do you think they are going to schedule a second interview, or based on the one I had in Jackson? Because what they did basically, I spoke after the interview to one supervisor, and he told me go online and try to change the address for that application for the N336, change it to Virginia, because it's still
just withdraw that N336. I would do that tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
That's because so I don't know for sure, but I bet that what happens is that if you have a pending N336, and I understand why you filed the other N400, they sit on those damn things forever. So I understand that. But I would imagine that, let's think of it this way. If you file for an N336, it puts like a shield over your file, and your new N400 can't even get in. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So like when you tell me things like a supervisor said that you need to play around and fix that N336, that's telling me that it's at some higher level that they can't. And then in answer to your question, yes, I think you'll have another interview, because that letter of continuance, to me, it seems like they're treating it almost like you didn't pass your test. And you probably did pass your test, but that they weren't able to determine that you were eligible for the benefits sought at the time of your interview. So they're going to conduct another interview to see if you now are.
Oh, okay.
But you won't have to do the test and everything again. But I do think that they're confused, and they're going to want to talk to you.
Oh, okay. 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 Thank you so much, Jim.
Bye, Jamal. See you, buddy.
All right. See you. Bye.
All right. That was Jamal. Let's say hi to Sean. Hello, Sean.
Hey, Jim. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Doing great. Yeah. I just have a few questions. I wanted to find out when you about to marry, and then you discover that your fiancé was previously on the food stamps, and then they canceled the time you guys were together. Can that affect her filing for the I-130?
They were on food stamps, and what was the other part? I missed the other part.
As she canceled the food stamps.
Oh, well, the food stamps isn't that big of a deal. If she was on food stamps before, the whole question is on her tax returns for the last 3 years, did she make enough money to support you? If yes, then she's probably a good co-sponsor. If no, then she still has to be the sponsor. You still need her tax returns for the last 3 years. but then you need to get a co-sponsor.
Oh, okay. But when I met her, she was on the food stamps, and
Yeah.
then when we were together, she canceled that. So I
Yeah,
wasn't
like I
on
said,
that.
that they don't there's not a question on there, hey lady, did you ever get food stamps? The question is whether she made enough money on her taxes for the last 3 years. That's the whole question. So you're asking me a question that isn't the right question. The right question is, did she make enough on her taxes for the last 3 years?
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. So if she did, I mean, if she did not, then she has to get a co-sponsor.
Yeah, you're still going to need her taxes for the last 3 years. They're still going to have to match up to whatever she told people to get food stamps. And then if she didn't make enough, which she probably didn't if she was getting food stamps, then you probably need her tax returns for 3 years, and then you need a co-sponsor.
Okay, I get it. And one other last question. I made a mistake when I was filing my I-1, what was it? D-160? One 160? That form for the visa?
You mean
When I was
what kind of a visa?
the B2, B1?
Okay, you made a mistake.
Yeah,
What was the mistake?
I didn't include the middle name for my dad, but
The what for your dad?
yeah, my middle name,
Oh yeah,
middle
that's
name,
not a big deal. That's not a big deal.
but on my birth certificate, it's there. My
Oh yeah,
dad's middle name.
it doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
So I was thinking that could be a problem. Say,
Nah.
why do you do that? So when I file, should I include it,
You
or
put your full name from your birth certificate when you file.
how about my dad? Should I include the middle name too?
If they ask it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Jim.
Bye, Sean. See you, buddy. Sonny's here. Hello, Sonny.
Hey, Jim. Thank you. Thanks for taking my call today.
Sure
Hey,
thing.
Jim, I have a question about filing I-130 for my sister and my mother. They are right now in India, and I am a U.S. citizen. I want to sponsor them. However, my mother, she will be here in a matter of 12 to 15 months, and she is the immediate relative. But it's going to be a problem for my sister. Now, my case is a little bit special. My sister, she is a Down syndrome child, so she needs my mother in order to take care of her on the day-to-day basis. Is there any provision in American immigration law that could help me bring my sister and my mother to this country at the same time?
No.
No?
No. What you could do is file for your mom, get her the green card, have
Okay.
her apply for your sister, which is still going to take 7 or 8 years, but then we could get reentry permits for your mom so she doesn't lose her status. It's going to be a huge hassle I mean, I'm assuming your sister's over 21, or is she under 21?
She is over 21, sir.
Yeah, so she's going to be the unmarried daughter of a lawful permanent resident. That's a long wait. It's like 7 years. So, but that's the only way to do what you want to do.
Uh, it doesn't really matter that my sister is like Down syndrome child, and this becomes kind of humanitarian kind of issue because she can't survive without my mom.
So their answer, their cruel, mean answer would be, no one says your mom has to come live here.
But I thought America is high on reuniting the family.
Have you
They
watched
will be the
Have you watched the show before? Do you pay attention to the immigration process? It's a terrible, broken system.
Yes, sir. In fact, truth be told, you answered my question pretty well. But truth be told, back in the days when Donald Trump was our president, I used to watch your show, and it gave me a lot of courage and lots of what you call
Hope.
confidence to move through the immigration system. So you helped me a lot on psychological level in those dark days, sir. I want to thank you for that.
Thanks, Sonny. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day, sir.
See you, buddy. All right. On that happy note, talking to Sunny, we'll be back tomorrow. I think the show's going to be at 11 tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central. I'll be doing it on the back porch before football tomorrow. So I hope you all have a great Saturday. We're just going to be chilling like Bob Dylan. And we'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Thanks for all the comments. I hope you all have a nice rest of your Saturday. Peace out.